Welcome back to the YouTube channel. Today, we're going to talk about confusion and how confusion feels normal until it kills your purpose. And then I will give you 3 ways demons use confusion against you and some solutions to that. I'm feeling a lot better. I'm getting through COVID. The symptoms have pretty much gone away. But I know I'm still infected. I'm staying away from people. So thank you so much for your patience and your loyalty. It means so much to me. Now, what is confusion? You don't know confusion until you understand the definition. Remember, in the beginning was the Word. And when the Word was with God and the Word was God. And words are so powerful, God used them, words, as the building blocks of all of existence. Did you know that at the beginning of anything that you build, that you create, your sales funnels, your family, your vacations, if you want to slap somebody, you need words. You can't even think without words. You can speak without thinking, but you can't think without words. And that's a truth that will live in my head forever. But what is confusion and how does it play into your life? Well, confusion, the word actually means to mix and mingle values and ideas, making them indistinguishable. To mix and mingle values and ideas, making them indistinguishable. When you have and this is how it looks to a 3-year-old. You have red clay, you have green clay. You tell this 3-year-old to mush this clay together. Make sure that it's all mixed up and it's all one color. You come back and you see that this 3-year-old did just that. You ask now, hey, can you give me red? From this new thing, give me red clay. There's no possible way. There's no possible way because now it's a new color. Whatever the mixture of that color is, you cannot get red from that. At least not with your own bare hand. You need technology to kind of separate. But this is what happens with ideas, with thoughts, with principles, with words, okay? And confusion is a tool in spiritual warfare used to make you serve demons, to get you outside of God's grace. And getting outside of God's grace is a lot more simpler than you might have thought. It's actually feels pleasing. Temptation feels pleasing, right? Like getting drunk, drinking, being a drunkard feels good. You know, it's not good for you, obviously. And people who do drugs, that it feels good, but it's not good for you. All this stuff and like having promiscuous sex feels good, but it's not good for you. It's not good for your family. It's not good for anybody, really. It serves zero purpose. Well, actually, it serves death, you know. So, confusion has a way, has a process. And the mixing and mingling, you know, values or ideas, making them indistinguishable. Okay. That's what confusion means. Spiritual warfare. Spirit means breath. Okay, let's break down the phrase. Spirit means breath. War means to confuse. The word war, it means to confuse. The etymology of the word war, it means to confuse. Fare, it means path or journey. So spiritual warfare means the path or journey of confusing your breath. So you say the word nice and you think kind and pleasing and all this great stuff, but the word nice, it means stupid or to not know. So when you say, oh, I just want a nice man, I want nice employees, don't be shocked when you learn that your employees lied on their resume. They don't know what the heck they're doing. Or don't be shocked when you have a man that does not understand how to lead. He's dumb. He might be pleasant, but he's pleasant because he's dumb, and he lets you make all the decisions. Now you're wondering why you have a man that can't lead. This is why. You brought it in, okay? You asked for it. Spiritual warfare produces confusion, okay? But confusion, the mixing and mingling, did you know that there are 3 levels of confusion? And all of them are dangerous. Okay, 3 levels. But first, before I get into the 3 levels, I wanna introduce how confusion actually operates in reality. So I might, so I have a story. Once upon a time, a woman in 1520, in the year 1520, started cooking meatloaf. And she started cooking meatloaf, and she couldn't fit the piece of meat that they cut from the cow. They couldn't fit it in the in this certain pot that they had. So she cut off the ends in order to put it in. So she started teaching, her children, hey, when you cook meatloaf, you cut the ends off in order to cook it. So then her kids started teaching her kids this, and now we have generations of people cooking meatloaf, cutting off the ends, not knowing the original purpose, but they think this is just how you do it. This is how you're supposed to cook meatloaf. So confusion in that aspect is you are seeing reality one way as natural when it has just been normalized. Okay? Confusion occurs at the level of sight. And remember, sight occurs in your mind, not with your eyeballs. So when you are learning about relationships, and maybe you don't ask questions about how do men do this or how do women do this. You just learn by observing. What ends up happening is you might think it's natural for men to yell and hit on women, when maybe you just saw that growing up. Or maybe you think, hey, it's natural for women to kick men out of the house after they had a baby with them, because that's what you saw growing up, and that you shouldn't be with men. You only need them for their sperm. That's confusion. You might think growing up that it's okay for emotions and feelings to be your master and be your leader. So now you think homosexuality is natural when it's not. You just normalized it because you don't know anything about emotions or feelings. So, confusion happens at the sight level. It happens in sight. So, um, this and this is why all of your spiritual warfare, the battles of spiritual warfare occur inside of your mind. They all happen inside of your mind. The portion of your mind that it happens is called your imagination. So, with that being said, there are three levels of confusion. Three levels of confusion. Number one, or the first bottom level, is called ignorance. And ignorance is when you just don't know something. 1 + 1 is 15. You think a lion is a giraffe. You think a rock is somehow a type of mineral and it's just a rock you found on the street. You think, you think humans landed on the moon and then came back. And we have issues with our Wi-Fi now. All that's confusion, or all that is ignorance. You don't know. You just don't know. Okay? But the deadly part about confusion is when you are confused, you simply are unaware that you are confused. You're cooking the meatloaf, cutting the ends off. The only way you get out of ignorance, the bottom level of confusion, the first level of confusion, is somebody or something on the outside of you has to demonstrate to you that you're doing it wrong. Hey, you don't need to cut the ends of the meatloaf off anymore. There's pans, there's dishes, there's bakeware that actually is large enough for you to put the whole thing in there. You don't need to do it that way. Okay? So ignorance is easy to get in. It's easy to get out. It's not easy. It's simple. It's simple. The next step the next level of confusion is misunderstanding. Misunderstanding is when you do not understand a thing. But you don't understand a thing when an outside source is telling you that you're operating it incorrectly. So, for example, if you think your cell phone is used to be a spoon to eat cereal in the morning, you would have a misunderstanding. And misunderstandings are difficult to get in, and they are difficult to exit. Okay, they are difficult to get in, they are difficult to exit. Why? Because you have to learn a lot about the cell phone incorrectly. You have to learn a lot of incorrect things about the parts and pieces of what a cell phone is. The reason why it's difficult is because you have to unlearn all the things that you thought were correct about the cell phone. So you might think, oh, that the glass of a cell phone is actually used to scoop cereal, when actually it's just used for you to view the what's being displayed. That's it. You might think the round things on the back are used to, break up some of the hard pieces, when in fact that's actually just the cameras. Okay. So that's misunderstanding. The highest level is apathy, and apathy is passionless existence. This is a spiritual thing. This is the highest form of confusion, and it's very difficult to get in. You not only have ignorance, you not only have misunderstandings, but you also are operating spiritually incorrect. You are operating for the enemy. You are in your demon time, as the young folks would say. It's demon time. This is apathy, passionless existence. This is when the empath turns to the dark empath. This is when healers start healing for demons. You start saying, "Oh, well, you're feeling bad. Here, take this shot of alcohol. Here, smoke this weed. Here, let's go have sex. Okay, it'll make you, make up sex. That's apathy. And for your spiritual gift, apathy is exponentially dangerous. This is when you, as an empath, maybe you receive feelings and energy as an empath through touch. This, if you are apathetic, you would not be able to detect through touch. On the other hand, you might it might default to through your eyeballs. And why this is dangerous is because, take your senses for example. We detect texture with touch. So let's say I have sand here and I pick up a grain of sand and I'm trying to detect how it feels. So I rub it around, but let's say I can't detect, or I think that I'm supposed to detect texture not through my touch, but through my eyeballs, through the physical eyeball. So I take a single grain of sand and I put it in my eyeball and I move it around. What do you think my brain is going to think about what sand actually is? My brain is going to interpret sand as dangerous. Do not touch sand. Sand will kill you. Don't stand on it. If sand blows, we need to create systems, big machines that protect us from sand. This is what apathy does for empaths. This is what apathy does for healers. This is what apathy does for teachers, for pastors, all the people who have spiritual gifts. It creates a type of overload, overwhelm that really can't be explained, but you need somebody from the outside to tell you. So getting into confusion is easy. It's simple. It's and the most wide form of entering confusion is called fun. The word fun, it means fool or to be foolish. This is why fun is a spiritual trap. If you prioritize fun, you most certainly are being led by your feelings or emotions. You think that everything must be easy. And this is an indication that Belphegor, the demon of sloth, is dictating your life. Not only that you are being ruled and led by your emotions. So don't be led by your emotions. They're not your masters. Emotions are not, they don't have a brain. They're not supposed to lead you. They never were. Okay? So entering confusion is simple. You can enter confusion in many ways, but fun is the most widespread. Another way is flattery. Flattery can manipulate you, okay, into doing things that for other people. So let's say you're doing something in the kitchen and you drop an egg on the ground on accident, and I don't know, your husband or wife comes up and says, "Wow, I really like that you dropped that egg right there. It does something to the kitchen." Okay, of course that's flattery. You feel kind of disgusted. Eggs on the floor, not healthy. Germs are going to start growing. But you start to believe that. Okay, now you have normalized egg dropping on the kitchen floor. Now you're slipping. Now, diseases running around the house, dogs are getting sick, cats are getting sick, you're getting sick. It's all bad. Okay, you're confused. So there's many ways to get in, but there's only one way that you must leave confusion. You must exit the process of confusion through a thing called cognitive dissonance. Okay, cognitive dissonance. Well, two things. Okay, one, it's cognitive dissonance, and two, embarrassment. You are required to pass through both of those things. Okay, now what is the two? Now, the two feel the same to your body, but they are two very separate processes. Okay, they both feel really icky. They make you want to run and hide. Okay, but cognitive dissonance means psychological stress caused by holding opposing ideas or values. Okay, so when you are holding opposing thoughts, ideas, or values, you experience cognitive dissonance. A common question that comes up about this is people think that cognitive dissonance is your indecisiveness, your inability to make decisions. That's not cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance is when you are holding two things as true, but they are diametrically opposite. You think both of them are true. This is not a point of decision. You just think both of them are true. That's cognitive dissonance. So, for example, cognitive dissonance would be, I think 1 + 1 is 2. I also think 1 + 1 is 3. That is cognitive dissonance if I think both of those are true. I'm not deciding. It's not a point of decision. Of course, that example is just to demonstrate I know 1 + 1 is 3. No, I'm joking. 1 + 1 is 2. I understand, that 1 + 1 is 2. And I understand that cognitive dissonance is not indecisiveness. But it's when you understand that cognitive dissonance occurs when somebody presents new information. Something or somebody presents new information that counters what you believe is true. So, and it may come in a social media post. We went to the moon, right? We flew and we landed on the moon. But our Wi-Fi goes out when it rains. They said that they live streamed from the moon and even made phone calls from the moon back to Earth. But when I live stream here in my house, we have issues. Several years later, several decades later. So now we have two things, two ideas, two concepts, two events that are now opposing one another. Your brain can hold both of those in your mind as true. Well, if this is true and this is true together, now I'm experiencing a thing called psychological stress. That's cognitive dissonance. All right? It's uncomfortable. It makes you feel kind of icky. Next. Okay? The next thing is required for you to leave The process of confusion is called confusion, or is called embarrassment. The word embarrass, it means to block, to block. So if you want to enter my restaurant and I close the doors and say you cannot come in, you've been blocked, you will feel it almost feels like shame. It's not shame. That's embarrassment. You will feel the energy of embarrassed. Now you might bulldoze your way in and call your congressman and call the police and say he must let me in. He's discriminating on me for whatever reason. That's your decision. But me not letting you in, that energy would be called embarrassment. Okay, cognitive dissonance and embarrassment to your physical body feel the exact same. They feel the exact same. And also shame feels the exact same too, but they are not the same thing. Okay? So, to leave the process of confusion, after you decide the correct path, the old you must die. Okay? The old you must die. This is why you must experience embarrassment. If you thought that 1 + 1 is 3, 15 people online correct you and say, bro, what are you thinking? It's always been 2. 1 + 1 has always been 2. It's never been 3. So now you start to feel like, oh man, I thought I was smarter than this. Okay. Ugh. It feels like shame, condemnation, but it's not any of that. It's called embarrassment. You've been blocked. Okay. This line of thinking is now been blocked. Now you will only say 1 + 1 is 2. I've been corrected. Or you might not even communicate publicly that you've been corrected. You might just make the correction. And internally, you are embarrassed. You've been blocked. You will never say this again. This means I've been blocked. Okay. So that's how you get into confusion. And that's how you exit confusion. You cannot exit confusion over time. If you are confused, time is not the anecdote. You must be presented somehow with the correct path, with the correct information, with the correct fruit, with the correct way to communicate. If you're never presented the correctness, the correct method, the correct way, then you're always going to live in confusion and you'll never know you are confused. That's the danger of confusion. You don't know you're confused until somebody from the outside or something from the outside tells you. You think that it's natural, but you've just normalized it. I'm a strong, independent woman. Congratulations. You've normalized it. You've normalized it. And you wonder why you're more masculine. You've normalized it. Oh, happy wife, happy life. You wonder why you are incapable of being a leader. It's because you're making your woman the leader. Happy wife, happy life. That's a very clever way of allowing your woman, your wife, to make the decision for the house. Oh, my children come first. That's the reason why your house is flipped upside down. There's order that should happen in the house. Christ, man, woman, children, in that order. But just because somebody comes first does not mean you won't have part of abundance. Abundance is infinite inside of itself. In my Father's house are many mansions. If you have just a sliver of abundance, that too is abundant. It just magnify it. It gets wider as you move in. Okay. So with that being said, let's move on to the 3 ways demons use confusion against you. Okay, number 1, confusion of flattery. Flattery looks like encouragement, but it's demonic manipulation. True encouragement strengthens your purpose while flattery feeds your pride. So you have to understand what flattery is. There's a phrase, I think it's called, it goes like, flattery is the best form of imitation. Okay. Let's do this. The word flattery, it means, or flatter, it means to provide undue praise. So when you praise somebody that you know does not deserve it, if your child lost the tennis match and you compliment him or you try to encourage him to do better by telling him that he did good, you are flattering him. You're giving him praise that he does not deserve. Yes, I know you don't want to hurt your child's feelings, but it's best to teach your children, number 1, that emotions are not your master. You still hold true to the vision God gave you. So, growth of your child is paramount. Growth of anybody is paramount, but your children, when you encourage children through flattery, you raise narcissists. How? Because flattery has a process. You give yourself you give your child undue praise, they then begin to give themselves undue praise. And that's called arrogance. The definition of arrogant is giving oneself undue praise. Flattery turns into arrogance. Arrogance turns into narcissism. Okay? And narcissism is ruled by the demon of Leviathan, not Jezebel. Jezebel is not the spirit of behind narcissism. The demon behind narcissism is Leviathan. Actually, Jezebel isn't even a demon. She's just an evil spirit now, because she never was an angel. Demons are fallen angels. Jezebel was never an angel. She never was in heaven. As bad as that woman was, she went straight to hell. Now, so flattery looks like encouragement, but it's demonic manipulation. Okay, your child is now going to tennis practice telling the coach, there's nothing wrong with what I did. It's your fault. You're just a poor coach. I should be better than this. It's not my fault. It's your fault. This is what flattery does. Okay, it creates narcissists. When you confuse, true encouragement strengthens your purpose while flattery feeds your pride. And Leviathan is the demon that rules over pride. Pride is the love of display. When you flatter your children, flatter your employees, they start to care more about how they are being perceived rather than how they are actually developing. So then they become hypocrites. They do things only for your approval. It's surface level stuff. Okay? Demons twist flattery into a trap where you start depending on praise instead of purpose. This is where children start to do things only for their parents. You kill their curiosity with flattery. They are no longer curious. They only care about, is mom going to say I did good today? Is mom going to or is dad going to say I did good today? The more you crave flattery, the more blind you become to correction. And the easier it is for Leviathan to rule you with pride. Okay? The second way demons use confusion against you is the confusion of empathy. Excuse me. Empathy is often misunderstood. Okay. Many believe they are overwhelmed because of their own energy, when in reality, they are carrying the energy of someone else that has finally taken root and is now weighing them down. Demons use this confusion to blur discernment instead of releasing what does not belong to you. You think your problem and spiral deeper into exhaustion. The truth is that what you feel is not always yours, and if you do not recognize this, confusion will drain your strength and cloud your judgment. And this one is for empaths. Okay? Empaths who are business owners, who are parents, who are pastors, who are, managers, who are shift leads, who are team leads, who are servants of God. Okay? Next, the final way demons use confusion against you is the confusion of business and purpose. In business, people often confuse loving what they do with their purpose. Okay? They often confuse loving what they do with living in their purpose. Purpose is not about doing what you love. Purpose is about creativity, contribution, and connection. Those three things. Okay? Creativity, contribution, and connection. The 3 C's. Demons twist this truth and convince people to turn hobbies into businesses. But most hobbies are not designed to sustain provision. Now, what is a hobby? The word hobby, it actually comes from a toy horse that stays in place, like the wooden toy horses that just go like this, or the horses that are on that carousel that just keep going around in a circle. Hobbies are action that goes nowhere. It's just busyness. You're running on a treadmill. Okay, that's pretty much what a hobby is. But you might enjoy running on a treadmill. If you practice a marathon by only running on a treadmill, then step outside and try to run a marathon on outside in the real world, you will quickly understand how different it is. You need to practice in real life for a marathon on the actual road. You use different muscles, okay? Progress requires different muscles than just muscles required for movement. Hobbies are not designed for purpose. They are designed to stall you. This confusion leads to frustration, wasted time, and financial loss. True business alignment comes when you understand purpose, the 3 C's, and build from there, not when you confuse purpose with passion. When you find your purpose, remember, connection, creativity, and contribution, then if you can find one thing that satisfies those 3 things, you create systems to multiply that, you will have business. You will have your business. You do not necessarily need to fall in love with it. Feelings are not your masters. Business owners, feelings are not your masters. Emotions are not your masters. They never were. They never were. Now, you might over time fall in love, deeply in love with what you do, but starting off, don't try to turn your hobby into a business. Now, what's the solution to all this? Okay, The Bible says idle hands are the devil's workshop. This principle is not only about work, but about verification. If you do not verify your actions, your words, or your plans, then you will create confusion by default. Every action must move the needle. Every conversation must fuel purpose. So let's get into it. Number 1, flattery. If you are detecting flattery, stop and verify it. Ask yourself, is this for my growth or is this for their growth? Many times, flattery is not encouragement but manipulation, a way of someone else to push their agenda through you. Verification exposes the difference. Number 2, empathy. Okay, if you are an overwhelmed empath, write out the people you were around that day. What did they communicate to you? When you track the conversations and the environments, you will quickly discover who sent you the poor energy. Confusion comes when you assume it all was yours to begin with. Verification sets you free. Number 3, business and purpose. Remember, purpose comes from God, not from feelings. You do not get to have a thriving business simply because you love it. If God does not ordain it, it will fail. Verification ensures that what you are building is aligned with His will, not your emotion. Confusion dies where verification lives. And verification is the second step in discernment. Okay? The 3 steps of discernment, okay? The 3 steps of discernment are observation, verification, and belief, in that order. I'm not going to get too deep into it, but the opposite of confusion is discernment. It is discernment. When you know something, you have discernment. If I hold up a fruit and you say, that's an apple, really quickly, great, you have discernment. You know how to distinguish this from an orange or a banana or a strawberry or a tomato. Some of you say tomato. That's discernment. If you do not know, then you are in confusion. You are in one of the 3 levels of confusion. Okay? It's fine that you are in confusion, but once you understand that you lack discernment on a certain area, maybe you don't understand how to write in APA format. Okay? Maybe you don't understand how to use a cell phone. Maybe you are an overwhelmed empath as a business owner in your salon. Okay? Maybe you are the pastor suffering from lust. All of this is a lack of discernment, and you are confused. And to exit the confusion process, it's not comfortable, but you need to be brave enough to exit. I promise you, it's better with clarity. Life is better with clarity. I promise. Anybody with any addiction can attest. Life is better with clarity. It might not feel as exciting, but it's way better. Way extremely better. You get more things done. Now, I love you guys. Okay? I'm back in action. Be sure to check out the description below. If you are a decision maker, an executive, a director, if you are a pastor, a parent, if you are a person with purpose, and if you are sick and tired of being disconnected from from the clarity of discernment, and you actually serve so many people. You have employees. You have people in your congregation. You have children. You actually serve actual families. I want to invite you to apply to the retreat that I personally am hosting called The Return. It's a 5-day spiritual retreat deep in the Alaskan wilderness. Of course, I will not be sick with COVID. But when this happens, okay, 5 days, you get clarity of your purpose again. You get meals sourced with food from the land, from the wilderness of Alaska. You get one-on-one coaching sessions with me where I finally can break down exactly what's going on, and so we can work through it together. This is 10,000 times better than any therapist. And I know you've probably tried therapy before. You probably went to other pastors. If you are a pastor, you probably went to pastors. It might not have worked. This retreat is exclusive, and I'm only taking up to 6 people. Slots are limited. Okay, I'm telling you, by application only. You can email me. The email will be in the description below. Okay, be brave. Send me an email about it. I'll respond, and you'll have the application. Okay, now let me know what you think about confusion. Are you on one of the 3 levels of confusion? I'd love to know. I'd love to figure out where you are at in life, and if you are wanting to talk to me one-on-one, okay, send me an email. You can send me an email, or you can schedule with the link below, and we'll go from there. Okay, but let me know what you think about confusion. If you didn't know, now you know.